I listed my notes and I just want to go over basic positioning because it's just easier to do with visual reference than just with words. So in this case, we're on tuna brief, tuna breath. So basically, your job as Diablo, if you have the Greymane or Kerrigan here, is to stay in this bush or this bush. So here, and then EQ them back into DPS range if they step up too far. The other thing you can do is just stand there and soak, and that's fine. Basically, you never want to go past like here. This is because they can flank you from down here. If there are two or more, it's not really any issue. They can't do much to you early, especially because you can just Q if you have good reactions and then you're out. But, you know, you don't want to take free damage, essentially. So going past, like, this point, unless you're going to immediately, like, E into something, is not worthwhile. So, like, here, like, you're here, and there's not really good reason, and because you're showing, they can go in on you, and that's not what you want to be doing, especially because you know you don't have your team here to help you. Like, if Uther was still there, it wouldn't be a problem, but he was hanging down. So, thankfully, you do get out. But, you know, quick reminder, you're squishy. You don't do much early game, except potentially get, like, a Q into a wall, and then a flip, and then a kill. Or, if they step too far up, if they push wall, you can EQ, and sometimes you'll trick people that are over aggressive into tower range with the EQ, and you can just buy block them and kill them. I've definitely gotten more than a couple of kills that way in even in coordinated play. It's something people don't necessarily expect, and it's very good to get used to. So basically, if they're stepping up here and you're mounted, sometimes you can just run up to them, E them, and Q them into towers. And again, if you do that, the big thing is body block them. Don't attack them, just body block them. Like I said in the notes, I don't hate the turnaround there, but of note, if Mantis hadn't missed their cooldowns, you would have died. So, something to be aware of. Yeah, you keep rotating through the middle, rotate through the middle. You get caught out there and die. So, again, like, something to do that's important when you're tanking is ask why you are in a certain position. Like, why are you here? What are you accomplishing? I know you charged in here, and you're just autoing this Mal'Ganis. And while it may be fun to do, you're not accomplishing anything by doing this. You should be anchoring for them or soaking here or here and just being here. And you're safe, and you can easily rotate if something goes wrong here. But instead, you're on their side. You see the camp gets taken, which means they're going to be like likely headed straight over here. And so when you're trying to get out, against most tanks, you probably would have been able to get out, but against Mal'Ganis, where he can chain stun without any setup, you just get killed. The other thing to think about is going up instead of the way you did. If you go up, you might be able to survive just because you give more time to your team. Your team also needs to commit here. I don't know what they're waiting for. They can just jump in and potentially delete the Falstad. Or if Greymane's in range, he can go into the J. He's going to take damage for sure, but he probably just gets the kill. Also of note, you wait way too long to Fire Stomp. Remember, Fire Stomp heal will save you. Like, I cannot tell you the number of times I've been in a close fight. Fire Stomp comes back, hits like 3 heroes, and then I have enough life to live. Yeah, like Fire Stomp right here. Yeah, I know you're in the Blizzard. Doesn't matter. Fire Stomp. Like, walk up and Fire Stomp. Your Q's up, but it's a little too late here. Like, if you had a little more life, but you are 200 health. If you had like 900, I think you can Q and possibly escape. But I mean, the fact that it didn't go off, you can see it's not on cooldown, which means you didn't get the button off, is bad. You should immediately be looking, that's your out. You should be thinking about your outs. Same thing if you're running away over here. If you're caught here, for example, look for minions. And then, like, maybe you can shadow charge a minion on your way out. If you're trying to leave under a fort, is there a wall? Shadow charge the wall. That'll get you out quicker. You always want to be looking at enemies, if you're trying to retreat, that are ahead of you, they're in front of you, and think about queuing onto them. It's a very useful escape tool. It's also your only escape tool until you get Hellgate at 20. And again, this is just a quick little positional thing. So I just want to quickly go over to one other thing. So for here, for example, anchor here, because they're taking the camp. So you want to be anchoring this bush or this bush. This bush is better just because obviously you want the soak, and you need souls anyway. You only have 40, so once you see Mal go down, yeah, you no autos, just go, follow. Like, as soon as you see Mal go by you, you know they're going to likely try and invade, or at least look. So you can't be messing around here. You need to be here, or here. Like, so you engage, you go on the hammer. Like I said, the only thing I think you messed up here is you shouldn't have E'd. Like, E doesn't help you, because none of your DPS is trying to follow up on it. So it's better to save it. You could have flipped Falstad back that way. You could have walked up and flipped Mal'Ganis off the point. Kerrigan's also too interested in trying to kill this hammer when the hammer's obviously, like, trying to leave. Or at least reposition over this Jaina, for example. And I mean, you guys win it, so it's not awful or anything. It's just, these are like minor things you can do to improve. And so anchoring's a big one you gotta get used to.
Still more to do.
So you get to the objective, and I think this is one of the best examples of where you can get a little too aggro playing Diablo. So, okay, this Gazlo's walking up to you, you laid a turret. There are already turrets. You shouldn't be here, essentially. Like, you can't do anything to these things. You can, like, it takes you forever to kill a turret. It takes you forever to kill even a little skeleton minion or whatever the hell these things actually are. So what's the point? You're just taking free damage. So you shadow charge, you miss the wall. Again, like, can't do that. Can't just use your best cooldown and miss the wall. Like, his health would be here if you hit the wall. You'd also be stunned. But again, like, if the Greymane doesn't know you're going in, that's even worse. Because the only way this makes sense is if you get the wall bang against this corner and the Greymane is, say, here and just jumps on him. And then you guys might be able to make something happen. But as it stands, this is not... This is just you taking more turret damage and using a cooldown. Again, so you flip. Greymane finally follows up. So the Gazlo would have been dead if the Greymane had stepped up here. So that's what I mean about coordinating your... I don't know if a target was called or not, or if the Greymane just wasn't... I don't know if he was listening. I don't know if he knew that was the call. I don't even know if a call was made. I'm just saying, if you guys had coordinated that better, this Gazlo dies. 100%. You also could just walk back, and there's no downside. Greymane can poke this Gazlo for free. You guys can sit over here. You can anchor this bush. That's fine. Like, but instead what happens is Gaz lives, you lose all your life. You're chunked. Greymane's kind of stuck now. Gazlo is a maniac. Greymane should be able to turn on him. But he runs, and that's fine. Kerrigan, you shouldn't be going in. Again, you're too late. You can't really accomplish anything because both your DPS, your tank and your DPS are chunked. Hammer's at full health. You know there's at least one other hero here. Probably two because Falstad had shown. So there's no point in going in here. But you jump in. And she misused her unstoppable, which is good for you. But even then, you just take a ton of damage. And you should have died. But it worked out. And then you guys have to reset, and this gives them all the time they need to like set up on point. Now Mal'Ganis is here on point. Hammer is either going to be here, like, or here. If they're bad, they're here, but probably here. And we've hit everyone. Yeah, so they're here, which means you actually have an easy route to them. So Falstad dies. I already talked about in the note, but you can't queue the Falstad unless you know you're going to get the hit here. Wait until he goes over here. Then maybe you can line up a queue. You can walk up here and then try and queue it into this pillar. Because you can see the corners here. Otherwise, just trust your DPS is going to kill them. Because if you have Shadow Charge off cooldown here, like, you can just go in on Jaina. You can walk up and go in on Jaina. Instead, you can't. You could walk up and go in on Hammer. You could just tell these guys to walk up with you. You Q, E, and then Uther's there for the follow-up. Does Mal'Ganis have his buttons up even? He'll have... So Night Rush is down, so he can't sleep you. Fellclaw is going to come up, but again, it'll be at least 1.5 to 2 seconds before he can get... Yeah, about 2 seconds before you can get a stun. So this QE into a stun, into whatever follow-up damage you can get, is guaranteed. Guaranteed on the Hammer. So Duck, if you stay and you go this way, and your Sylvanas steps up, Diabolic, like, you can kill the Hammer. And these are the kind of picks you guys got to be looking for with this kind of comp. Also, you guys got 7s. Pick your 7s. I noted it for Diablo, but I didn't realize your whole team didn't do it. Like, you guys have a talent tier advantage, and you're not even taking advantage of it. So Sylvanas and Greymane picked them, but nobody else did. So you get the kill, but you all stand the stun, and then Jan just walks up and chunks all of you. So that's the problem. You have an Uther, so you're all chunked. If you want to go back in, now you have to wipe all of them. Because look at the 26 to 18. 28 to 18. Like, yeah. So you have to kill them all, or they're going to get objective while they fight you. You can QE. You don't even need an E, actually. You can just Q this Jaina. She'll be here. You move down into the bush to body block her from walking out. Make her walk up. And if Greymane and Kerrigan are over here like they should be to follow up, and Sylvanas is down here, 100% dead. You guys can then walk up and fight them. If Gazlo steps up, you flip him. Again, there's all of you there. Gazlo dies. Hammer has to run or die. So 100% if you guys go for the team fight here correctly, if you're positioned to do so, you will wipe them all, or at least get 2 kills. If they're smart and they see you jump on Jaina and kill her, these two run. Run right now and you get objective. So either you get objective, you kill all 3 and lose objective, or you kill 2 and get objective. There's no outcome that's bad for you here. The alternative is, if you're worried that Falstad's going to make it back in time, like fly in, and you're worried about not being able to get the fight done, kill Jaina and back out. Like, Jaina's just 100% free, though. Or just leave right now. There's not that much harm, honestly. Like, send someone to top soak. 4 of you move mid. If anyone needs to back, you'll have time to back, and with the move speed bus, you'll be about here-ish by the time the Punisher shows up. So you're not even that far away. If any of you have taps, Uther has a tap if he wants. Everybody else use theirs. That's a little awkward, though. But instead, you guys walk up. Kerrigan's trying to get objective. Greymane's walking up, not accomplishing anything. Look where Diablo is. And look where you guys are. So again, you should be following this up. Like, granted, he didn't QE and kill Jaina, but like, even if he queued there, if you guys had just walked the way you did, he wouldn't have gotten the kill anyway. The whole point of having a dive tank is that, especially with a Greymane and a Kerrigan, is that when you charge someone and you get the wall stun, or you QE, and they're in range of your combos, they just die. They die in a second. You have that burst damage, especially at 10 or above, where you could have Cursed Bullet. And if you could delete tanks even if you set it up correctly, and you say QE, hit Cursed Bullet, jump on them, and just, kill them. Just body block and kill them. Or if Uther's there, get an Uther stun, or get a Kerrigan combo. Like, you can kill any tank in the game, 100%, if you do it correctly. Especially with a wallbang. Like, especially if you get off a wallbang. So you're just not really taking advantage of the fact that you have a Diablo here. Like, the Diablo is being a little too aggressive, but that's only too aggressive in the sense that the team is not following up. And if you're not going to be following up, you need to make it clear to Tuna Breath here. Because that way, Tuna Breath knows not to jump in. Because remember, whenever Shoucher's on cooldown, Diablo is basically useless. He's just a giant meat shield. He really does not accomplish much. So, even now, you guys are just gaining objective. Just attack Gazlo. Like, by the time you do, they're all set up. Look at them. They're just killing you. Like, and again, you're still 10 down on objective. You need to quickly realize that the only way you win objective is by killing them all and then clearing objective. You don't have a comp against a Jaina, Gazlo, and a Hammer. And the other two are okay at clearing too, but it's specifically those three. There's no reason to think you're trying to race objective-wise if you're already 10 down. They're just going to get it by default. Especially because Hammer and Gazlo can just poke for free from a distance. And if Jaina has Blizzard, same thing with Jaina. Otherwise, she actually does have to commit. So yeah, that's really it. If there's another engage in this replay or the other replay you want me to go over, I'll do it. But I mean, it's a 20-minute replay. I'm sure this recording is already decently long. I don't want you guys to sit through like a 45-minute, mini movie marathon this afternoon. I think my notes are pretty clear on what needs to be worked on. And I really hope you guys learn from it. And again, I don't think... It may sound like there are a lot of mistakes, but that's because that's all I'm focusing on here are like things to improve. I think there's a lot that went right in some of these fights. And all you guys really need to do is with these comps, have targets and follow up on them. And I think the more you play these comps, and the more you get used to how Diablo's ranges are, especially with the quirks on Shadow Charge, the better you'll be with them. It is not something you learn overnight. I can tell you that. Our team almost only played dive tanks, and the first season we did that, we had games where we just couldn't kill a damn thing, and we felt so bad about it after, because heroes would keep walking away at like 10-20% life, and we'd be like, man, how we lose that fight? And it's because you really need the early picks with these comps, or they just feel very anemic. The rule of thumb is you want to end the fight before the enemy team has their second round of cooldowns available. And if you can do that, I guarantee, especially in your division, you will absolutely dominate most of the comps you come up against. Again, if you have questions, just have Duck message me. Hope this helps. Thanks.